Hello. I'm back. I'm going to be doing a get to know me video because I'm getting quite a few new subscribers on my channel. So welcome here. For people that actually know me, you don't have to watch this. What questions should I do? Where am I from? I am from Singapore, which is a tiny island. I haven't lived here my whole life, but I was born here and I'm in Singapore now, so yeah. Where do you go to college? I went to uni in Australia. And it was such an eye-opening experience for me. It was my first time living in a Western country, and it was my first time living alone. And that was very helpful for me because I learned to take care of myself in so many ways that I wouldn't otherwise have known. And I met so many amazing people there. And yeah, Australia has very nice beaches, hiking spots. So overall I really enjoyed, everything I gained there. What else? Oh, what's my favorite Starbucks drink? I don't really drink Starbucks anymore. I don't really drink coffee anymore in general. When I was living in Australia, when it was cold, I would always get a warm mocha, and then when I came back, I always get like iced mocha, and then now I just drink iced tea. What's my favorite color? Now it's purple. As you can see, my hair is purple. The first ever favorite color I had was blue, and then pink, and I thought purple is such a cool color because it combines both blue and pink together. What other questions should I do? I really don't overthink these things, so I'll just go on the fly. What's my favorite book to read? I don't really read as much these days, but back then I used to read My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. She's an amazing writer. I read that book over and over again. Also watched the movie. If you've seen my song cover, Feels Like Home, I believe that was the soundtrack in that movie. And Jodi Picoult, she's amazing because her son has a medical problem, so her books are really, it comes from a very genuine place when she writes about all these people with medical problems, and she writes it in each person's perspective, so that's very interesting when you're reading her books. What did you want to be when you were small? I wanted to be an illustrator, and then afterwards I wanted to be a singer. I've always wanted to be a singer for the longest time. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, I enjoy it, but when I was a lot younger, I was really thinking about singing seriously. And then yeah, after that, a fine artist. So I really wanted to do acrylic painting. I do have an art Instagram where I post my art. If you go on my personal Instagram, you should see the handle there. It's called the Luna Sky, so Luna Sky. Okay, next question. Oh, what would you rather ride? A bike, a horse, or drive a car? Recently during COVID, I was riding my bike a lot because of the restrictions we had here in Singapore. But when I was in secondary school, so that would be about 14, 15, I was doing horse riding, and unfortunately I fell, so I'm seeing an osteopath now, and she's really amazing. She cracks my back. which is like a whole nother experience. But I was at that time riding every week. First it was once a week, then it became twice a week, and then we were starting to learn how to jump. Jumping didn't cause my fall. It was just normal riding that I fell. Have you ever had a nickname? What is it? When I was really, really young, my mom used to call me 小燕子, which is little, I believe, a sparrow, direct translation, but it came from a Chinese movie about this Chinese princess who was very rebellious, and I was a pretty rebellious kid. So what are your hobbies? This year I'm really into dancing. I started with girl style, then I went to choreography. Choreography is not lyrical content, it's just choreographing to the song. And then I did ballet because ballet is very good foundation to have. And then I started salsa and bachata, which is a partner dance. So yeah, I really like to dance. I don't feel hip hop is really my kind of vibe at this point, but if I ever go for a class, I would take that quite seriously because I like learning and improving myself. What's your favorite holiday? I just went to Bali recently. I kind of talked about it in my cleaning video, so I'm gonna talk about Iceland. I also went to Iceland this year, so I feel very lucky, very fortunate. I might actually do a video just talking about Iceland for anyone who is thinking of going. It was very nice. Like, if you are into nature, Iceland is amazing for that. Be prepared to see a waterfall almost every day, because that's what that's what I actually experienced when I was there. So and I think the people there are just so friendly, so nice. Just be prepared that the food's gonna be quite expensive because everything is imported, so just keep that in mind. Do you love or hate roller coasters? I used to enjoy them. We used to go a lot as kids with our family friends, but in end of 2018, I was in Brisbane with a friend, and the day before she took me to this movie world where they had 2 new roller coaster rides. I got very seasick because the sea was just so rough. We didn't even get to snorkel because it was so rough. And so the next day, we had already planned to go to movie world. So after that whole experience, I just never rode a roller coaster again, and I don't want to because just the memory of that. But we had a lovely time, She was really nice to bring me around and spend Christmas with me, so I really appreciate that. What's the most unusual thing you ever eaten? I mean, if you're living in a country where you eat all kinds of insects, this might not seem unusual to you. But one time when we went to Hangzhou, which is a place in China, we ate fried ants. So it's literally like an entire plate of fried ants. And honestly, it doesn't taste like anything. It was so crispy, and we just ate it. So to me, that was pretty unusual, pretty different. Another thing that mainland Chinese people like to eat, and they do sell a bit of that in Singapore, is duck's tongue. Duck's tongue, and then another one would be pig's ear. So that's gonna sound very gross to some people, but yeah, I'm pretty much used to it. And sometimes I do crave for some of that food. If you're into mala, you know what I'm talking about, but you might not necessarily choose to eat that. What was your first job? My first job was being a cashier slash waitress at this cafe. Over here in Singapore, we don't really have minimum wage, so but at that time I was so young, I just took it because I was desperate. Just willing to take anything, and you know, it was only for a month before I had to fly to Australia, so I knew that it also wouldn't be fair to the person hiring me. So yeah, I just took it, and honestly it was pretty fun. I enjoyed working in a cafe, interacting with people, serving people, and sometimes you get to eat the cakes if you're lucky. And yeah, I had like one or two, I think at least, other F&B experiences that was meaningful to me because of the people that were guiding me, the people that they taught me people skills, you know, not just how to serve food, how to prepare food. It's also about learning how to interact with people in that sense. Oh, good question. What type of music am I into? I'm into most music. Classical, indie, pop. I grew up singing in a bunch of different choirs. But when I was very, very young, and when I outside of choir, you know, I just sang pop. Because my first performance was actually when I was, I think 7, I believe. So yeah, I took that kind of solo music very seriously. I also took choir seriously, but it's not necessarily my main focus. But it definitely gave me a form of foundation. And then I did music class for a year when I was in Australia, and it also gave me a different kind of training, even though it was also classical and a bit of musical singing, because you need different techniques to project different sounds. You need different breathing techniques, so it takes a lot of practice and muscle memory if it doesn't come naturally to you. And that's okay, you know, because when I was in school, I did train a lot just because I was in a choir, and you know, that helped me in a way and of course pop singing is very different. There's different kinds of voices that you need to be aware of, and also understand your own voice and your own range so that you don't end up damaging your voice, which can happen to a lot of people. So personally, I believe vocal rest is very important, because once you damage your voice, it's very hard to get it back to where it was. I also listen to K-pop once in a while, indie K-pop, like the chill ones, a bit of lo-fi. So I really listen to a lot, but I don't listen to heavy metal or that kind of stuff. I used to listen to Arctic Monkeys, but it wasn't really at that level, you know what I'm talking about. If you're into that kind of music, okay. What activity instantly calms you? At one point, I believed in meditation. Not all kinds of meditation will calm me down because sometimes it could be yoga. It really depends on the day, of the phase of life that I'm in. Some days it could be listening to audio books or whatever. Some days it could be painting, you know, it could be dancing, could be cleaning the house. So there is no fixed solution to calming yourself down. And if you have actual anxiety, then of course that is something else that requires medical help. How do you overcome a personal setback? There are many ways that this can go. Sometimes religion can be of comfort, depending on what religion you have, you know. Sometimes it's just changing how we talk to ourselves, changing our thought process, especially if you've been raised in an environment where there was a lot of criticism, then that takes more work. But it's not just the mental. I think I also focus on the emotional aspect, the physical aspect. You know, a lot of people that when they are depressed, right, they talk about not being able to get out of bed. That's why the physical aspect to me plays such an important part in overcoming our setbacks, because when we go about our daily routines, it kind of helps us get that sense of momentum, that sense of, hey, I'm actually progressing. And even if it doesn't seem a lot, it actually is very significant still. Oh, interesting. What would you consider a relationship deal breaker? There are a few things for me, but one of them would be smoking, because I don't smoke. I'm a non-smoker, so anybody who smokes, I just don't, you know. For me, that I wouldn't want that in a romantic relationship. So that's just me. Some of you may disagree, that's fine. We're all entitled to our own opinion. So yeah, that was it for Get to Know Me. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other questions you may have. And you can comment down below, and you know, if I feel okay, I can answer that, then I might. So yeah, thanks for watching and hope to see you in my next video. Bye.